So now that we've talked about both types of associative learning, classical and operant conditioning, let's talk about the Hebbian synapse, which may be involved in this type of learning, or appears to be, I should say. So by the end of the video, you should know what a Hebbian synapse is, or what we're talking about when we say the Hebbian synapse, and you should also understand how it is important in associative learning. So remember Hebb back in 1949, I think it was, differentiated between short-term memory and long-term memory. He also developed the idea of a Hebbian synapse, and this famous term that says cells that fire together, wire together. And you probably heard me say it throughout the semester a couple of different times, but now we're really going to understand what that means. So here we have a neuron, and the neuron is getting input from a variety of different cells. Okay, so this is neuron 1, and these are all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different neurons, right? So these neurons tend to fire synchronously at the same time. So they're firing together, which means that ultimately they're going to wire together. It's going to strengthen those synapses. These two down here, they're firing at random. See how they're not firing together? So the lines are going to be when each one is firing, right? So this one fires just a little bit here and there. This one fires just a little bit here and there. They're not firing together, so they're not going to wire together. So again, these three are firing together. You can see the synchronicity of the firing. And as a result, you can see that these synapses have been strengthened. There's been collateral sprouting that's occurred. And so these synapses have been strengthened, and then these ones that were firing kind of randomly, there's a loss of those inputs because they're ineffective. They weren't firing together, so they're not going to wire together. So we often are saying that the connection strength increases when the pre and the postsynaptic neurons are active simultaneously. Simultaneously is kind of relative. Like if you're working in a brain slice in a lab, that might be milliseconds, right? But if you're looking at something like classical conditioning or operant conditioning, it could be as long as several hours, right? Between, a food taste and a sickness, or a behavior and a reward or a punishment. But successful repeated stimulation of a cell by an axon leads to the enhanced ability to stimulate that cell in the future. And this is going to be directly related to when we talk about LTP in another video. So in other words, increases in effectiveness occur because of simultaneous activity in the pre and the postsynaptic neuron. Cells that fire together, wire together. And as we kind of said at the beginning, this appears to be critical for many types of associative learning. So here's just an example. We have the air puff, which naturally elicits the eye blink, right? So let's think that there's something stimulating that red nucleus that's causing that eye blink. Okay, well now we have the tone. Well, there's a weak connection here, but if these are firing simultaneously because we're associating the air puff and the tone, over time, this tone is connection is going to strengthen. And so now the tone can elicit the eye blink all on its own.